Hey, everybody, and welcome to Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm the goofy fucker with the backwards hat, Don. How's it going?
Does that make you hip? Because you got the backwards hat? You're like one of the cool
Oh,
kids?
I know. I think that's so like early 2000s, actually. I think that ages you more than anything now.
Probably. Now that you say that, probably does. Is it even early 2000s? Is it 90s?
Yeah, I'd say for me it was into the, or, Limp Bizkit was still a thing, right? Fred Durst's,
Oh, yeah.
backwards hat,
Yeah, does anyone even remember Limp Bizkit?
Some do.
All right.
Some do.
Uh, so we're calling this one Filling the Void because there isn't a lot of things to talk about. I think the news I brought in is mostly rumors. So yeah, we got some casting news for Spider-Man. I don't even remember what I put in the emails.
Yeah.
Casting news for Spider-Man. Oh, I thought you would be interested in this one. Fortnite is under basically attack or against SAG is going after them because of the Darth Vader voice. So we'll get into that. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's an interesting one, and we might get a little political. We'll see, because Pedro Pascal doesn't like people following the law. But that's about
I'm
it.
glad I'm glad you explained that though, because otherwise I thought filling the void was some sort of sexual double entendre, but it's not.
No,
It's,
not tonight.
you
Not
see.
tonight. Only on Sundays.
Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, before we even get further, announcement at the top of the show here for those who might be watching. Um, there will not be a show on Sunday. It is Memorial Day weekend. I will be at a concert, and Don will be enjoying probably fishing, is my guess.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Part of the day.
So yeah. Um,
If something
other than
super
that,
duper breaks, though, I will hop on. I will say
super
that.
duper.
Yeah,
What
I
would be
don't know.
super
Say
duper?
X-Men casting, something like that. There's a lot of those rumors swirling around. In fact, uh, I heard one today. Daniel Day-Lewis was rumored. Marvel was at least interested.
Oh yeah.
Which I don't know anything about that actor, but from what I understand, he's supposedly pretty high caliber,
He's
which makes me
considered one of
pretty
the
thankful.
he's considered one of the best actors
Yeah,
alive, and he's a definitely a character actor. I mean, he's played Lincoln, and he's been in a bunch of stuff, and won a bunch of awards. That would be an interesting choice. Did you say
I mean,
Magneto
because
or
no Magneto. So if there
yeah?
is that grandiose, monologuing character, it would be Magneto. So I love that. You know, Again, I
Cool.
don't know much about the actor, but I really enjoy how, if that's true, how seriously they are taking the casting, because you can never, as much shit can be talked about, I guess, the Fox X-Men, they casted well. So
Yes.
I also believe it important that they follow that trend. Honestly, if they really just slap the comic accurate suits on there, you're already, at a
Yeah.
good place.
Yeah. But okay. Well, then, other than that, has anything new or interesting in your life since Sunday night?
Since Sunday night, nope. Honestly, worked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Have to work both jobs tomorrow. No, nothing new and exciting. No.
No. Okay. Yeah, me either. Busy couple days at work, headache inducing, really. went out with
Yeah.
the went out last night with the girlfriend. Just went to dinner, and yeah, that's about it. We got the concert on Friday, so um it'll be interesting. Being old and going to a heavy metal show, but the people performing are older than me, so I gotta suck it up a little bit. Yeah, we had our failed experiment on Wednesday, because we only had Thrawn watching, and looks like no one's.
Yeah.
It says there's 5 people watching us on YouTube. No comments though. Oh, and I still haven't heard from John, so I don't know what's up with that.
Well, I don't know if it's a failed experiment, other than thank you, Thrawn. Our member, of course.
Yes.
But obviously, as far as live comments and whatnot, if Kassan's not there, so we're just not there yet. That's okay. We're still climbing.
Kassan must be mad at us. I think
Or
must
could
have
be
upset
busy.
him. Maybe. I don't know. I think John's mad at me. I don't know.
It's gonna happen, man.
Yeah, I know. He probably thought I voted for the wrong person. Yeah. All right. Well, that's. I mean, I guess that's it. I guess we should get into it, but wow, we're only 6 minutes in. Man, this is a light episode.
Yeah.
We might be out quick. So before we get to our little bit of news, let's have Darth Don tell us where you can find more superhero speak.
Darth Don here. And you must subscribe to Superhero Speak if you haven't already. And if you have already, make another account and subscribe again. You also will like this video. And while you're on the HoloNet, go to superherospeak.com. Find the links to our merch and purchase one of our shirts. Don't skimp on the shipping, or else I will trap you in a box with an agitated Gundog named Brie Larson. I would just force lightning you, but we don't have that in the effects budget. Now, back to the show.
That's the other things I've been doing with the Star Wars theme there. I am working on my first Star Wars painting, so
Ooh.
we'll see how that goes. It'll be interesting. It's not a space battle. It's something else, and I'll and it's not going to be a particular character because
Oh, it's not Jar Jar Binks?
No, God. Only if it was Jar Jar, decapitated by who would that be?
Yeah.
Darth Maul, maybe. So let's see. News or rumors. So this was posted over on by Discussing Film over on X. Rumored that Scorpion, Boomerang, and Tombstone are the villains in Spider-Man Brand New Day. This is according to an individual who attended the Disney Blockbuster Consumer Products panel yesterday. Which, of course, that's where they introduce products that are coming out related to their movies and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so my guess is there's toys for those characters, but
Mm-hmm.
I kind of feel like, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I feel like there's been many times in the past where there have been toys that have come out associated with a movie that is not in the movie at all. I remember Batman toys coming out with like Batman Forever with him in like an aqua suit, and it's like he wasn't in an aqua suit in the movie at all.
Yeah, an Arctic suit,
Yeah.
I remember that. Looked cool, but yeah, he never wore that shit in any of the movies. But they needed to sell more toys.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing that gives it legs is Scorpion, because we've seen Grogan in the very first Spider-Man movie, and we haven't
Mhm.
seen him since in the after credit scene. So,
Yeah.
and I think we've all been waiting for Scorpion to show up at this point. So, and Tombstone, I mean, he can be a cool character. He's been used in the comics a lot, and he's kind of being used in the new animated series. He hasn't turned into Tombstone yet, but
Mhm.
he's there. Boomerang, I don't know. He's kind of like a meh character.
Yeah, I think DC and the Suicide Squad did the best they could as far as with the Boomerang gimmick with Captain Boomerang. So I don't think you're doing any better than that.
Nah.
And no one cares about Tombstone. So yeah, Scorpion's the only thing being introduced there, and these rumors that you really actually care about. That's cool. That's how I feel. The other two I could care less. But I'm sure they can do their job playing minor roles in the film. But Scorpion's the only one that really matters.
Yeah, I don't think he's a strong enough character to be a main villain either, though. That's unless they write a really good story around him, I don't see him. He's never been a big player in the comics until he became Venom for a while. But
Right. To me, he's kind of like Spider-Man's Toad, right? Toad, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. Like,
yeah,
he's not doing nothing ever, but he's just kind of there. And he is a mutant, and compared to most people, he is powerful. I don't know. So just kind of a staple, I guess, that serves a purpose. He's not on par with Spider-Man. Talking now about Scorpion, but I don't know. It is, Spider, Scorpion. It's an interesting gimmick thing for me. It really is.
I mean it's funny too, because he's one of those characters, and there's a couple of them in the comics that have an interesting origin. The fact that like J. Jonah Jameson helped create them because he wanted to capture Spider-Man, because
Yeah.
he was a menace. I'd be curious if they do that in the movie, right? Because obviously we know that he's returning. J.K. Simmons is returning as J. Jonah Jameson, so
Mm-hmm.
that might be an interesting, involve him with the origin. I don't know. I think that would be kind of cool. Maybe.
Yeah, that would be cool. That seems like good writing to me. Boy, J.K. Simmons, man, what a baller! Like he was in that prison show Oz. Sure if you remember that, and then
Yeah.
he's got the farmers commercials, and then J. Jonah Jameson, and now he's the voice of Omni Man. Like he's balling out, man, for him.
Yeah. Yeah. What was the movie he was in where he was like the music teacher and the
All
drummer?
that you lost me.
Man, we don't have Kassan here to yell at us.
But yeah, all that sounds good and interesting, man. I'm, with Spider-Man, do you think we're ever gonna get the Venom villain? Like fucking Venom's got a whole goddamn trilogy and nothing to do with Spider-Man at this point, although that may not be MCU proper, I guess, but they've crossed over clearly. So yeah, what do you think?
Sorry, Whiplash. I had to look it up. It was the name of the movie. I don't know, because part of the issue I have with that is 4 movies in, is it too late to introduce Venom? We're never gonna get proper Venom
Yeah.
like we did in the comics, because it's such a long, convoluted story from Alien Symbiote to Eddie Brock to Venom, that to him being a villain to him being the lethal protector. I don't think that's difficult to do in the movies. Like, and obviously we got Venom movies that have absolutely nothing to do with Spider-Man. And
Okay, but it sounds like though, if they ever wanted to do the hero Venom thing, that would be the only way they could do it. Then is the way they did it. Is they came out with a Lethal Protector movie trilogy. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe they just said, hey, you know what? That's just we're never going to be able to actually turn them into. We're not going to be able to do that. The whole villain to hero thing. Without some ridiculous long form stuff. So fuck it. We just go straight to, in which case they say he's a villain to Spider-Man and that's it. So we got to get rid of the Spider-Man element. I wonder if that was what it was, Dave. I think you're hitting on to something.
Yeah, because like I think you could have done in one of the, but here's the other issue too, is it's all the whole rights thing. Sony controls all the ancillary characters, and like the only one they've agreed to let us play with for the most part is Spider-Man in the movies. But you could have done something when in Endgame, or not Endgame, in Endgame, where like he's coming back from the alien after he's resurrected. He comes back from the alien planet. He's got like a black spot on his costume, and just that would have been just enough. Like, oh, okay, we know what that means. But they couldn't have done it because we still had the third Venom movie coming out. So it's so convoluted. I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna ever get Venom in the MCU because it's complicated, right? Like people are gonna want Tom Hardy coming back, and I think he's done with it, So
I agree. I don't think we're ever going to get a Venom, at least not maybe. Well, you know what? We probably will get a Venom proper, because after this Secret Wars stuff, and it officially comes like the X-Men MCU, rumor has it, I guess. So I don't want to say like this is finality going to happen, but rumor has it once all this Doomsday Secret Wars stuff and they transition over to the X-Men, that's going to be a completely different universe, probably shaped by the events of Secret Wars and all that, where they all exist. X-Men, Avengers, Fantastic Four, everything's fucking there. Like the 616 comic universe. So we could then get somewhat of a correction there as far as the Spider-Man property.
Yeah, I mean, because there's also still the rumors too that.
But fuck, Sony still owns all. Oh, that's so annoying. That's still
there was also still rumors that ready for some multiverse hate, that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield were going to be in the next Spider-Man movie somehow, where it's like it was a cool thing, but it really probably should have been a one and done kind of thing. But so there were rumors that they were going to appear in the movie. Now they're saying they want to concentrate on it being not a multiverse movie, but and more of the street, like they said this a couple times, more of a street level Spider-Man. And that makes sense, bringing in Tombstone and Scorpion as your villains. But now the rumors are that those two are going to be in Doomsday, because it's going to be a multiverse movie, and why not bring back the other Spider-Man? Like, it makes sense.
Yeah, it does, but I think we're in the multiverse until this resolves and we go to that new X-Men centric MCU.
I think we're always going to be in the multiverse. It's always going to be a backdoor of like, oh, we want to bring this character back. Multiverse, like we'll just pull him out of another universe.
I mean, I guess they can do that sparingly, but I think we're to a point where they have to focus on the actual contained story that doesn't just have all these possible MacGuffins that could be injected into it, or else people are going to really lose interest. So I think they need to shoot their fucking shot with this multiverse bullshit right now. Have Secret Wars, okay, whatever. That's all multiverse, but at the end of it, have everything contract again and give us one fucking universe that we can follow
Well,
and understand.
and again, it goes back to like there haven't been that many movies since Endgame. You know, a lot of it like there's been a few, but a lot of it's been the TV shows, and I know partially the issue was they wanted to transition to the TV, but the other parts of the issue are, you know, the pandemic. People weren't going to the movies, so it's like, oh well, they're going to watch stuff on TV. Um, so I think that's the other thing too. It makes it feel like this multiverse stuff has been dragging on forever. You know, I mean, how long ago was Multiverse of Madness and No Way Home? You know, where it hit the movies. Like, we're going on a few years now, you know, and like nothing more has been done. Yeah, we had some fun with it in Deadpool Wolverine, but
Yeah.
yeah. And then, you know, Thunderbolts comes out, Captain America comes out, and there's no mention of multiverse stuff in those movies. So it's like, yeah, because that's another thing, you know, when you have this big sweeping universe and you introduce threads like the Celestials and a multiverse, and we kind of got a hint at, you know, Blade, even though that was in a show, that was in Moon Knight, right? Were
Blade?
they? Yeah, it's
He
like
was in
the,
Deadpool Wolverine.
oh yeah, well yeah, that Blade, yes.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about there was a hint at him in the show, the Moon Knight show, you know.
Oh, wow, I don't remember that.
So like I'm trying to think of some other things. Like they just that's the whole thing. I've said this before. It felt like we introduced a bunch of threads in the last phase that are just kind of being resolved now, but it took forever just to resolve those.
Yeah.
And you know, we still got Loki sitting on his throne, controlling the multiverse.
Which is fine. They can leave that sit. I guess I wish that would be like the lesson they learn is that okay, we can introduce the fact that there's a multiverse and all that, but at the same time we can still have a story that just centers around this little area of, you know, of this universe, of that multiverse, and have a story that's grounded and easy to understand, and that you're not sitting there the whole time, you know, worried about, well, okay, which character is going to die and then come back in the multiverse, or you know,
Right.
what character, which one of my favorite characters is they're going to just throw a multiverse gender swapped version of it in there. Um, you know, so
Yeah.
you can have a multiverse and not have it be this overarching thing involved in every story. It can exist, but it just not, you know, just like you know, how many different planes, you know, there are in D&D and stuff, but you know, they make books and stories that are just in this world, and that's
Right.
the story, you know. We can do that. And I feel they struggle with that right now.
No, I agree.
I mean, they're kind of getting it though with the Captain America, which again, thought was a good movie. Thunderbolts, thought was a good movie. By all rights, it made money. So I know, I think Kassan was saying in our last show, he was doubting that it made money, but it made money. But, you know, just like we said, though, as soon as Lilo and Stitch came out, it was immediately bumped off the top spot there in the movies. But it was something that you could enjoy, self-contained, not
Right.
multiversal, and I thought that added to the enjoyment.
No, I agree. Yeah, poor Thunderbolts beaten by an alien. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? I wanted to see real quick what their current box office is. 328 million.
So I
So
want to say it's plus 300, and
yeah, they made their
by
money
all
back.
accounts, yeah, by all accounts, it was under 200 to make. So,
Yep.
I mean, if seeing accounts higher than that, but
So yeah, even if you say 100 million for budget, I mean for marketing, they still made their still made their money back and then some. So good on you, MCU. You're back. All
We're
right.
back, baby.
So do you play Fortnite?
Once upon a time when my son was younger, I would play with him. But I know I've seen, because he still plays from time to time, and he was really heavily in it. Had a bunch of Star Wars skins. In fact, they announced before somehow Palpatine returned. He returned in Fortnite, which is kind of a slap in the face, I admit. Where are you, Kassan? See, I kind of said something bad about Star Wars tonight. You're not here. So yeah, I'm familiar with Fortnite, just not intimately, but I know it has a pretty close relationship with like all things Star Wars.
Yeah, there's
for some fucking reason. Although they've even got X-Men skins. There's a Colossus skin in Fortnite. So again, I'm not sure how any of that works.
There's a bunch of what you call it, new skins that just came out. Like there's a set of Fantastic Four, whatnot. Because I think it was Disney dumped a bunch of money into Fortnite for some reason.
Sure, for some reason to get the kids, man. That and Roblox and Minecraft, man. That's kids' video games these days. That's all it is.
Yeah, Roblox has been around forever too. My son was into that when he was young. My
16-year-old still picks that up and plays it every now and then.
So anyway, what had happened was, of course, they have not only skins, they have characters you can interact with and they go on missions with them and stuff. And one of those characters is Darth Vader. And the Darth Vader has a voice. It happens to have the James Earl Jones AI voice. And so it sounds authentic. But now, this is the thing that gets me about the story. SAG is going after them, saying, let me see if I can find it.
Well, I mean, I could jump in here because I read it and I
okay.
I think it's a bit ridiculous, but basically, they're suing him for using the AI James Earl Jones, and from what I understood, the only thing to sue him there is like because they didn't offer the work to a real voice actor.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it, but I don't know what to tell you. He signed off on Disney to say, hey, you can use my voice for this character. And I just don't know how you have a bitch against that. Like, it's their character. It's Darth fucking Vader. So yeah, I think it's very silly.
And the whole thing is, he signed a contract with Lucasfilm, who's owned by Disney, who is the one dumping all this money into Fortnite right now and letting them do all this Marvel and Star Wars stuff, that they could use his voice, whenever they do Darth Vader. And that was the whole point of it, Darth Vader would always be James Earl Jones' voice forever and ever. So SAG is now trying to say they violated some kind of contract. It's like, really? Like, I don't know. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't get it.
It's a reach. I mean, it's a reach. I'm not in that industry at all. I mean, I'd love to be a voice actor. I mean, I guess I am, but I'd love to definitely expand my experience in that category. But still, I don't understand the expectation that they would have to hire somebody to. I don't know. It's got to be almost a publicity stunt or some sort of political protest against the use of AI in this instance, with dead voice actors.
Yeah, because it doesn't make any sense, because if they had just generated a game, if let's say it was a brand new game and they decided to just use voice AI voices for all the characters. Like we don't want to hire any actors to save money to make this game. Let's say you and I start our own little indie studio and make a game, and we just come up with the scripts for the characters and come up with AI voices. It's so easy to do now. And like boom.
Listen, let me give everyone a hard truth here. Okay. Whether you like it or not, I'm an analyst. Dave's a developer. Sorry if I'm doing TMI, Dave, but
no, that's fine.
AI is going to take our jobs. It's going to happen. I have, in fact, Dave, I have something on my phone right now called Replit. Okay. And what Replit will do is I can literally use AI to develop phone apps. Okay.
Yeah.
Like laymen like me are now able to use artificial intelligence to create apps. I mean, to your imagination,
right.
Do a fart app or, whatever, or, angry Gundark Brie Larson in a box app. So, I mean, that sucks, but I think this is just kind of them protesting that. And I know we've had this argument and people hate AI art and it's going to be a whole thing. I'm telling you, it's going to come down to where it's going to be like a legal thing where you have to disclose whether something was AI art or not. I think that's going to be the end sum of a lot of this shit. But
right,
I don't
right. And I don't, here's the thing, because I'm actually arguing in favor of Disney using the AI voice, because that was the whole point of it, right? Like, okay, here's Darth Vader in something that's
right.
it's not even a movie or anything. It's just a character in a video game, an NPC. It doesn't really mean anything. And this idea of like, you should have hired a voice actor. It's like, why? Like
I because it's just them drawing a line in the sand, artist in general. I just artist versus AI. It's a thing, and they're really perturbed about it. And I totally get it. I really just think it's a line in the sand thing, and they don't want to seem like they're not going to fight it.
I do think though, at the end of the day, fighting it like this is just going to make things worse,
Sure,
because
absolutely.
The average kid who's jumping on Fortnite and getting their V-Bucks and getting their characters, getting their characters and
their little dances,
paying for skins and shooting, they don't care. Like they don't care that the voice was AI or if it was an actor doing it. They just care about shooting people and surviving. So when they see like, oh, I love this game and SAG is going after it because of something that is stupid and I don't really understand, it's going to just make them hate SAG,
Agreed.
And it just gives them a bad name. Like, so it's a silly move. It's a silly PR move. I think like they not file a complaint, but like, at least have a conversation. Like, it's just weird. Like, you're not going to get anything.
I mean, I agree. I don't, now that, we kind of talked through it here, I don't think it's a publicity thing as it is just, we're not going to go quietly into the night sort of thing.
Yeah. I don't know.
Let us know in the comments. Like and subscribe if,
let us know in the comments. Should we continue discussing AI? Because, it's the future. I'm just glad because I'm a little closer to retirement than you are. So, I should be okay.
I'm okay. Listen, no, I have a plan. If AI takes my job, I'll just pretend to be blind and go on disability.
We have, I am a Microsoft developer, meaning I use Microsoft's development tools, and .NET is the Visual Studio .NET is the main thing, and they now have a tool that's built into .NET that's called Copilot. And what it's supposed to do is and like you can say how much of it you want to use. I don't really use it much because I don't have a need for it. But like it's supposed to, if you get a bug, it'll help you analyze what the bug is and fix it. It does, like you can sit there and say, you can go to Copilot and say, I need a script that does this, and it'll write it for you, you know. And yeah, it's just like, and there's developers that are on my team that are using it, and I'm just like, yeah, you're just feeding the devil. But
yep.
Or when we're on the bread line, I'm going to smack you in the back of the head. So yeah, it's not coming; it's here. You know, it's just going to become more and more evasive. So yeah, we'll see. Speaking of, I don't know, should we bring this up or should we end the show?
Yep.
Okay.
No, we're only at 36 minutes. Come on.
All right. So you brought this to my attention this morning, or was it yesterday? I don't remember. But Pedro Pascal was at the Cannes Film Festival, I believe.
Yep.
And he's some horror movie that he's in, and he was promoting it. And of course, he is the child of immigrants in the United States. And I guess he was asked a question about how he felt about the current state of how, you know, immigrant policy in the United States. And he basically said, you know, F the people that are doing this, and you know, don't let them scare you, and resist with your art. I mean, I liked some of what he had to say, but a lot of it was just like, really? I don't know. Like, because I also feel like the media that has covered this has put way more stock into what he was saying than what he actually said. I kind of felt like it was an off the cuff, angry response because he's the son of immigrants in the United States, you know. That like it was more or less one of those like default responses that a lot of people give, and yet they're, you know, of course all the headlines is like, oh, he's anti-Trump, he's against everything and blah blah, and it's just like, is he? Like, I mean, yeah, he's a Hollywood actor, he's probably a leftist and all of that stuff, but like, I don't know. What did you think of it?
You know, I look at the context of everything. You mentioned that, you know, he is the son of immigrants. He's at the Cannes Film Festival, which is just, you know, the largest gathering of, you know, leftist virtue signaling rich people, you know, on the face of the planet.
Yeah.
You know, so when in Rome, do as the Romans. But I know he's a pretty liberal guy himself. I mean, I saw an article today where somebody was complaining because he had some sort of like rainbow glow stick that he was pretending to give, you know, some sort of fellatio to. You know, all that stuff. I don't. He could be giving fellatio while holding a bloodied fake mannequin head of President Trump. I don't care. Just do a good job. Play Reed Richards. You know. So well, I mean,
okay.
That's my thoughts on it.
You know what? You're hitting something that is, I think, an important point. Very much so, that we give, like, it's so funny because all these people complain about the elites and all this stuff, but we give so much weight to the opinion of people whose job it is to entertain us. You know, like, it's
he gets to vote one time, just like us.
Right, exactly. Like, but the problem is, because he's famous and he appears to have influence, you know, because he's famous and he's an actor and he's been in a lot of things that you like, people give weight to what he says, when like you just said, he gets one vote just like I do, just like you do. So his opinion is just his opinion. It doesn't weigh more, but we make it weigh more. And like if you really are tired of the elites, then you should stop giving these people a platform. But we, of course, continue to do it over and over again. Like, yeah, give them a platform if you want to ask them acting tips. You want to ask them, what's it like to be Reed Richards? What's it like to be in the Star Wars universe? Like, okay, cool. But like, I don't care what what your political opinion is on things. You're right. Like, I just give me a good Fantastic Four movie and I'll be happy, but there are a lot of people who also don't feel that way. But what are you gonna do? I've kind of wondered, because you said something the last time we got together. We talked about the reshoots for Fantastic Four, and you said, well, maybe it's political. There was something in there they felt was too woke. And I said this to you in response to you sending me the article. And you said you didn't. Your response was you don't care. But here's the other thing. How do you think this stuff is going to fly in a couple of years? If again, love him or hate him, Trump is his poll numbers are going back up. Yeah, the tariff thing was a little wonky, but now things have stabilized with the markets. Inflation is down. They're trying to pass the no tax on tips. They want to try to do no tax on Social Security. Like, there's all these things that he's doing that people that are popular. The wanting to reduce drug prices. Like there's all these
way
people.
Too much. We got to lower those prices, man. Way too much for. I'm just kidding.
There's all these people that are on this resist side, but yet he's doing all this stuff that's popular and people are liking it. How do you think these comments are going to play in 2 years if it keeps going in the direction that it's going? Let's say in 2 years we all have hover cars because of Trump, and we're all living the high life, and we have someone like Pedro Pascal go to an award ceremony and say F Trump and all this. How do you think it's good? Like, do you think they'll sway with the times and stop doing it, or do you think they're going to keep doing it and then people are just going to stop watching their movies because they're get tired of it?
I hope people don't stop watching their movies, because I don't think it's going to go away. I think the Hollywood, the elite, it's always going to be leaning left, because I think that they're sold on the idea that that's how you virtue signal your compassion.
Okay.
That's just my thought on that. But again, I don't think people should stop watching movies because of an actor's political beliefs. I mean,
right.
I to quote Thanos from Guardians of the Galaxy, it's one of my favorite lines, since I feel such the same way. Your politics bore me. Your demeanor is that of a pouty child.
Yeah.
So I just kind of ignore that aspect of somebody, and honestly, me politically, I really only care about one issue, and it would, I guess, be considered a right-wing issue. But otherwise I'd probably be considered a liberal. So, politics just suck. I don't, as far as Trump, like, here's the problem. If you're on the opposite side of Trump, you're going to lose, because you're expending a lot of energy against somebody that's never going to run again. They've already won.
Right.
So you should plan for the next enemy. But instead, you're shooting BBs at an iron wall that has just ran over you. You're not going to win anything like that.
I have said this, and I'm sure I'm going to piss a lot of people off with this comment, but at this point, the Democrat Party has been reduced to orange man bad, and no matter what he does, they're like, it's wrong because he wants to do it. And like, we're in election season for local elections and stuff, and the ads come on TV, and it's like, someone's running for a local office and they're like, I'm going to fight Trump, or a governor or whatever. And it's just like, why is that your campaign? Like, just tell me what you're going to do for your district. Tell me what you're going to do for your state. Like, don't tell me you're just going to fight Trump. Like, that's not an answer, but that's all they have right now, and they still think that's what people want. So
it's all driven by money. It's the modern day Coliseum. I have absolutely no respect or hope for our current system, and I'm literally waiting for it to all burn. And that may not be in my lifetime, but it's just corrupt. And Trump, whatever, Biden, whatever, they're all fucking us because of money. And just let me keep my weapons and don't give the government any money, my weed, but and again, I may seem completely right wing, but at the same time, I'm completely for universal health insurance. If we are going to say, oh, we're a civilized country, then why should anybody have to worry about being sick and paying for it? But I just don't think government can do much. It's very inefficient, wasteful, and corrupt. So there you go. Fuck it all.
All right.
Read my comic books, play my games, read my books.
I have this image of you sitting in a room reading a comic and like the world's on fire around you and you're just like, you look up, whatever.
This is fine.
This is fine. This is fine. All right. Well, let's not beat this to death because
nope,
we'll lose a lot of subscribers. So on that note, let's ask that question.
What did we learn on the show tonight?
What did we learn on the show tonight, Don?
I learned that although we are increasing in subscribers, closing on 51,000, that apparently Hassan doesn't like us anymore. So it's sad. No, I'm sure he's just busy, but yeah, it's a slow night, I guess. Recommendations, oldie but a goodie. I find myself at least probably once a year binging Gundam Wing, doing so now during, kind of in the background. Good series. I mean, some of the characters are completely batshit fucking crazy. But it's still a cool story. Big giant robots fighting each other. It's a good time. Gundam Wing.
Always a good time when giant robots fight each other.
Mm-hmm.
Except for the civilians who get killed. I learned that it is possible to have a civilized conversation about politics, though we probably pissed a lot of people off. But what are you going to do?
I don't think we did. I don't think anyone watching this show is going to think we're unreasonable here.
True. Recommendations. I don't have anything other than go enjoy your holiday weekend. And like Don said, unless something big comes up, we won't be here Sunday. So just keep that in mind and go enjoy time with your family and your loved ones. Have a beer, maybe watch some fireworks, maybe smoke a doobie. And
some hot dogs, get your beans going, coleslaw.
Exactly. And we'll see you Wednesday. So until then, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let your cape get caught in the door. See you next time.
If you haven't done so yet, subscribe. It really keeps this podcast alive. Smash the like button if you please. It gives us what we need. Maybe leave a comment or two. It's a really nice thing to do. And what are you waiting for? Visit our merch store. But before you click away, subscribe to our show today.